All right, man, peace. So back in 2015, Tyson Fury shocked the world by defeating Vladimir Klitschko and taking 4 belts from Vladimir Klitschko. I believe Klitschko had the WBO, the WBA, the IBF, and the IBO. Well, Deontay Wilder has the WBC belt, and they'll be fighting for that this December. They recently sat down to discuss their upcoming bout, so of course they're going to talk about it, and I'm going to chime in.
Thank you, Gary. This is fun. Joining us right now to promote their WBC heavyweight title on December 1st in Los Angeles are Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Thanks for being here, guys.
What's going on? Thank you guys for having us.
Max is pretty much the voice of boxing. Got our expert over here, so I'll just let you take over.
I mean, I love the matchup. It indicates that you guys aren't scared.
Well, not only that they're not scared, but also they're trying to put pressure on Anthony Joshua. They're trying to create a vice grip on Anthony Joshua. Because no matter who wins, they're going to put even more heat on Anthony Joshua. That's really what this bout is all about. Tyson Fury challenged Anthony Joshua, was unable to get the fight made. As we all know, Deontay Wilder has continuously challenged Anthony Joshua. They've been unable to agree to terms. So whoever wins this fight, they're going to have even more clout in regards to putting forth the narrative that Anthony Joshua is ducking them. As I've already stated, Tyson Fury was the last fighter to defeat Vladimir Klitschko when he actually was champion. Deontay Wilder, as we all know, has the WBC belt, which is viewed as the most preeminent belt amongst the boxing sanctioning bodies. So let's see what happens. I do think that this is going to be a very good bout for however long it lasts. I think that Tyson Fury is going to present some problems for Deontay Wilder in regards to his height and his reach and a lot of his awkward maneuvers in the ring. Of course, we know what Deontay brings. He has great power in both hands. He's a phenomenal athlete, and he also has a warrior spirit.
Heavyweight era, you guys have big talkers, big personalities, and guys who can fight. I'm curious, Tyson, what you thought of Deontay's fight against Ortiz, who's a guy no one wanted to fight, 6'4" Cuban southpaw with speed and punching power and an amateur background. He gets rocked, comes back to win. What were you thinking?
I thought it was a great fight.
Me too. I thought that it was Deontay's best win to date. That was certainly the best victory of his career. Certain people have given Deontay a hard time about his resume. But one thing about Deontay is that he's always gone out of his way to try to make big fights with the top names. He tried to fight Povetkin, and of course, Povetkin got busted for doping. He was supposed to fight Ortiz earlier than he actually fought him, and Ortiz was busted for doping. So one has to wonder what's taking Anthony Joshua so long.
I thought Deontay done very, very good to beat Ortiz. It showed he's a real champion and a champion's heart. To get hurt, come back and knock a guy out. A guy who nobody wanted to fight. A guy who everybody avoided. Deontay went in there, knocked him clean out.
Are you surprised?
You know what's interesting is that Tyson Fury had a bit of a quote-unquote mental breakdown in the aftermath of defeating Klitschko. He started to make some very quote-unquote controversial statements about homosexuality and pedophilia. And subsequent to that, we know that he had some drug issues. So it's interesting to see where his career is going to go or where his life is going to go after this. Because they do not take kindly to celebrities speaking against homosexuality and pedophilia and Luciferianism as he was doing.
Surprised he gives you those kind of props because you can both talk and you're both very confident, and we've heard him go at guys and everything. Yeah. Are you surprised that he gives you those kind of props?
Not necessarily. You know what I mean? It's different characters in the boxing game, and when you're at the high level that we are, it's okay to compliment. You know, it's okay in general. You know, a lot of guys want to be men, we're fighters, so we take pride in the rope though. You know.
And what about his heart when he
Well, he's very awkward, and he also changes stances oftentimes in the ring. It's going to be interesting to see how Deontay deals with that. Once again, it's also going to be interesting to see how Deontay deals with the height and the reach of Tyson Fury, which clearly threw Vladimir Klitschko off, who spent most of his career fighting guys who were far shorter than him. He finally got into the ring with a Tyson Fury, a fighter who was taller than him, and it was difficult for Vladimir Klitschko to adjust. We'll see if Deontay has those same problems, or we'll see if there's been a drop-off with Fury because he's had so much time off. A lot of brothers have asked me about this notion that was put forth by Deontay Wilder that he tries to recruit the spirits of the ancestors when he gets into the ring. That's very common for top-level entertainers. In the scriptures, that's referred to as necromancy or dealing with familiar spirits. Denzel Washington is on record as stating that while filming Malcolm X, that he was able to draw in the spirit of Malcolm X. And I believe that I've stated this in another video. Spike Lee stated that Denzel Washington was able to recite Malcolm X speeches that he did not even study for. So yes, necromancy and the ability to summon familiar spirits into your own body, that's something that's very, very real. So is Deontay Wilder doing that? Is he dealing with some level of Luciferianism? Who knows? He's a top level athlete. He's most likely a Mason. We see that around his neck, he has the chain with the 3 keys on it. What could that be a reference to? Could he be a monarch athlete? He was in the Olympics, so who knows? Oftentimes, keys are used as triggers or control mechanisms for monarch children.
Says Cunningham has him on the deck.
At this point, you don't have to judge his heart. Because
and I wanted to fight the best when I came back.
Why not?
And the best at that time is Deontay Wilder.
But I guess what I'm...
Now that's a shot at Anthony Joshua. Once again, both of these fighters have tried to have fights cemented with Anthony Joshua, who pretty much is the biggest box office name in boxing. So it seems as if Anthony Joshua's promoter, Eddie Hearn, is trying to hold off that fight as long as possible. Maybe he's scared that his fighter may be revealed or quote-unquote exposed. I don't think he will. I think that Anthony Joshua showed us everything that he needed to show us in regards to Hart in the Vladimir Klitschko fight. So maybe he's just trying to use the Mayweather-Pacquiao paradigm of just waiting until the last minute to make the biggest fight that you could possibly make.
That's what I'm asking, that being out of the game for 2.5 years, I mean, don't you need a little bit more time to prepare for that man who's a knockout artist?
Yes, he's got...
Well, how many fighters is he going to be able to face who will be able to mimic what Deontay Wilder is bringing into the ring, Stephen A. Smith? I think that Tyson Fury is smart enough to understand how to fight Deontay Wilder. He's not going to try to take him head on. I'm sure that he's seen him fight numerous times, as well as his trainers. And they probably have had a game plan for Deontay Wilder for the last 3 or 4 years. Most top fighters, that's how they work. They watch other top fighters and they develop their game plan from 4 or 5 fights before they actually fight.
He's got everything going for him, but I don't do second best. And I don't do boxing to be 3rd or 10th or have an unbeaten record. I want to be the best again. So that's what I got to do. I've got to beat this man to be the best. Like I say, if I can't be the best, I ain't going to be 2nd place or 3rd either. There's no place for me in boxing to be anything other than number 1.
Deontay, I'm wondering whether, or how important is it rather, that not only that you win this fight, but win this fight convincingly. We all know what your aspirations are. We all know that Anthony Joshua is the target out there for the both of y'all. How important is it for you, in your mind, to win this fight in convincing fashion?
I mean, it's important, but I don't dwell on putting pressure on myself, having to win it in great fashion. In my eyes, all I had to do is take the win. You know,
it's funny that
I think that's his way of saying that he's not quite sure if he's going to be able to knock Tyson Fury out. So he's not going to put those pressures on himself. And that's smart. Tyson Fury has a great chin. He has good heart. He's undefeated. And once again, he's very tall with long arms. So I think that Deontay Wilder is anticipating that he may have trouble reaching Tyson Fury's chin consistently.
that you say that because the whole thing about you is that you're electrifying. Like even the Stavern rematch, Stavern's out of shape, but the way you got rid of him had fans electrified.
Right, but he was supposed to knock out Stavern like that. Stavern was a big fat bastard with man titties, got in the ring looking like King Latifah. I mean, that was not a surprise. But once again, the credit that I give Deontay Wilder is that he's always tried to make big fights with the best fighters.
The Ortiz fan, the whole thing about you is you electrify the crowd, but here you're saying it doesn't matter how you win, just that you win.
That's how I think. You know, if I go in with obligations, if I go in knowing I have this massive responsibility that I have to continue to follow my act of knocking guys out, then it brings pressure. But I don't think about knocking guys out. It just automatic. That's something that's built inside of me. That's something that's come.
Stephen A. brings up Anthony Joshua, like you both want Joshua, and you kind of rolled your eyes a little. Why?
He's not in my plans. The guy was offered to fight me a few times, turned it down. He's turned down the fight with Wilder for a hell of a lot of money. The man I'm interested in and only concerned about is Deontay Wilder.
Let me ask you about Anthony Joshua quick, though, because you're the lineal heavyweight champ. There was only one heavyweight champ. It was Vladimir Klitschko. Apologies, but I've heard you say the same thing. You got to beat the man. You beat him.
Yeah.
But then you went away. You had problems. You went away.
Yeah.
And in that time, a consensus formed around Joshua because he knocked Klitschko out. Do you feel like you're still the champ? Do you feel like this is the championship? Or do either one of you acknowledge that no one's the champ until they fight Joshua?
Well, neither one of them are going to state that no one's the champ until they fight Joshua. I'm sure that Tyson Fury still feels like he's the champ because, as I stated near the beginning of the video, he's the person who defeated Vladimir Klitschko when he had all the belts. That's why I state that what this fight is really about is giving either fighter, whoever wins, the right to truly call out Anthony Joshua after the fight and say, look, there's no one left standing. We have to make this fight right now. Even though Tyson Fury is acting like he's not concerned with Anthony Joshua, the reason why he wants to fight Deontay Wilder is because he knows he needs Deontay Wilder's scalp so that he can justify calling out Anthony Joshua and being taken seriously. There's no way in the world that Eddie Hearn is going to let his fighter Anthony Joshua get into the ring with a 6'8", 6'9" guy who already defeated Vladimir Klitschko and who right now really is not that relevant, but who Eddie Hearn understands has the potential to be able to defeat his fighter. So Tyson Fury also understood that, so he said, you know what, let me go fight Deontay Wilder. If I can beat him, then I can legitimize calling out Anthony Joshua.
I don't know about all this Joshua talk. The guy's a pumped up weightlifter. He's not even a fighter. He's been picked hand-selected opponents.
Olympic gold medalist?
Yeah, hand-gifted in his own country. You're looking at the two best heavyweights on the planet, the biggest puncher on earth, and the most slick boxer in the division. I'm the lineal heavyweight champion of the world going back to John L. Sullivan days.
That's true.
So in order for any of these guys to be considered the man, then they have to beat the Gypsy King who sat right here in front of them.
I gotta say this, and I don't mean to just rain on everybody's parade. You know, I saw you against Klitschko, and to me, when I looked at him, Deontay Wilder, the knockout artist that he is, he goes into the ring, he finishes guys. I was expecting the same from either you or Klitschko. I wanted to see it. And to me, that fight, in my mind, kind of hurt the aura of Tyson Fury as opposed to help it because it wasn't as action-packed as I anticipated it. I want to know how you felt about that fight. Yeah. I want you to explain to me why somebody like me and others would look at that fight and not walk away as impressed as we thought we should be.
Well, no disrespect.
Well, the reason why you walked away and you were not as impressed as you thought that you should be is because you don't know shit about boxing, Stephen A. Smith. It's no disrespect. But whenever you're in any type of competition, you do what you have to do to win. You don't fight or play in the style that the fans want you to play or fight in. You fight or you play in the style that's going to get you the victory. Now, in some fights, he'll have to come forward and be aggressive. In other fights, you lay back and you allow your opponent to expose openings so that you can pick and poke them to death for 12 rounds. In the same way, a great basketball team or a great football team, they might play fast against certain teams because they see certain deficiencies. Against other teams, they'll try to slow it down. That's just how it works. But you can't watch a boxing match and say, oh man, that was a whack fight because he didn't try to knock this guy out. If he's fighting an opponent who has 55 knockouts and 62 victories or something like that, you better believe that he's going to be careful if he truly intends on defeating that opponent.
No disrespect, but I'm going to tell you how you and others thought about that fight.
Okay.
I'm what you call a Rolls-Royce heavyweight. Yeah. My silky smooth skill of boxing in heavyweight division isn't always as exciting as some sluggers, some billfellas knocking each other out.
Okay.
And at high-level boxing, it's a chess match.
Agreed.
One wrong mistake with Klitschko or myself or Wilder or anyone, it's curtains, it's night nurse. So at that level, when you mess with a guy who's got 65 KOs and 25 title defences, and I'm going in there as a 6-1 underdog, don't forget.
Yeah, that's true.
Then I have to box and move, slip and slide and be very awkward. I am the Sugar Ray Leonard of the heavyweight division. So my what I do isn't always...
Once again, he has very good hand speed for a big man.
...always exciting and colourful and knockouts. Although I have got 19 out of 27 knockouts on my record, every fight is different with me. And
but is that
I
how you're going to have to be against this man? Because you do understand it,
yeah.
and I appreciate the civility between the both of you. Absolutely, it's beautiful to watch. But you do understand, you're talking about being smooth.
Yeah.
This man is coming to take you out.
100%.
Right, but Deontay Wilder has weaknesses as well. I'm not quite sure if Tyson Fury is going to be able to take advantage of those weaknesses. I'm not quite sure if he's going to be able to get a knockdown. But if he fights truly smart, he'll have a chance against Deontay Wilder. If he holds, if he breaks off the action like he likes to do, if he switches stances, if he keeps his jab in Wilder's face, if he takes advantage of Wilder when he squares his shoulders up, if he's able to counter over Wilder's lazy jab sometimes, we'll see. This fight's going to be pretty good. I'll probably hold off on my official prediction until fight week. We'll see.
But no more than Marvin Hagler was coming to take Ray Leonard out after 5 years out of the ring, and he didn't do it.
I got a question. Can I ask one question? Because you called yourself the Rolls Royce. So what are you?
He's the American muscle.
I'm Deontay Wilder.
Okay.
You know, I'm Deontay Wilder. I speak and believe and receive.
Deontay, so he mentions his boxing skills, and by the way, no one was supposed to beat Klitschko until maybe Anthony Joshua or you fought him. You were a huge underdog. Klitschko hadn't lost in a million years when you scored the upset, so just the fact that you got the win was big news.
In other words, Max Kellerman is trying to tell Stephen A. Smith in a roundabout way, for you to tell a man who was able to defeat a heavyweight as highly touted as Vladimir Klitschko, and you're trying to criticize him for the style in which he did it, that really was an untoward question. It was a silly question to ask someone. It's like if you were able to defeat a nationally ranked college football team that had won 44 games in a row, and you won the game 6-3. Does anybody care about the style points? No, they do not.
He's talking about boxing with you. Everyone knows if you hit something with your right hand, it falls. The wall of a city, you hit it with the right hand, Deontay Wilder hits it with the right, it's going to fall. But he's shown the ability to get up and take a shot and all those things. You say no pressure to knock him out. How do you beat him if you don't knock him out? How are you going to win those rounds?
In other words, Max Kellerman is seeing a lot of what I'm seeing in regards to this fight and its possible outcome. He knows that if he's unable to stop Tyson Fury junks up these fights so much that one could easily see him leaving this bout with a W. He really can. But we'll see.
I mean, easy, you know. I have a boxing ability as well, too. See, when I have opponents, different opponents bring different characteristics about myself. I have so many things in the bag that you guys have never seen before. You know, and I smile with it because I'm sincere about it.
Well, you did it in this first Stavern fight. You won with the jab, and
Ortiz as well, too.
He has a great jab, but his jab also can be lazy. If Tyson Fury can time it, especially how he brings it back. A lot of times he brings it back low. And Deontay does square his shoulders a lot. Will Tyson Fury be able to take advantage of it? Well, Tyson Fury squares his shoulders a lot too.
It's so many, because I'm so untextbook and so unorthodox that people can't see the beauty inside of what's going on. Like my slip, I'm able to...
Yeah, but I got to ask this. You're saying that, and stay with me there, because obviously we know every time somebody talks about Deontay Wilder, they bring up that right hand. But they don't talk about your boxing skills.
Exactly.
so what do you mean by
So
no
you're
pressure?
about to go up against this guy who's calling himself the Rolls Royce of the division, the Sugar Ray Leonard of the heavyweight division. Are you going to go in there with the mentality to showcase your boxing skills that others believe they haven't seen? Or are you going to go in there to take this smooth dude out?
I'm going to do what I always do.
Take him out.
There you go.
Take him out.
There you go.
I wouldn't expect it.
Well, he's going to try to take him out. But I think that Tyson Fury, he jumped in with that because he was trying to remind Deontay Wilder, look, dude, we need to sell this fight. So don't get suckered into Stephen A. Smith's question and say something like, I'm going to do whatever it takes. Because nobody wants to hear that you guys are going to be involved in a boring 12-round match. So Tyson Fury was very smart to jump in for Deontay right there. Deontay has a lot of bluster, but sometimes he struggles to articulate himself. Tyson Fury, he does not get tongue-tied at all. He's definitely the best trash talker in the heavyweight division. No doubt about that.
It's anything other than a takeout job.
You mentioned before your slip. What you're about to say something about your technique because you do have a technique that people can't see. It is unorthodox, but you manage to get your punches home and have your opponents avoid their punches. So you have a style that works. What did you mean by slip?
I mean, slipping punches. I'm able to change the trajectory of my body when the punch is coming. Look back at the Luis Ortiz fight. When he's coming, I'm right here. He's coming, and I'm slipping. You know, it's coming.
A lot of that's also because, for the most part, you're normally taller than your opponent. Once again, as we can see by the tail of the tape, he's not going to be taller, nor will he have a longer reach than Tyson Fury.
It's coming through. Just little small thing that I does.
Do you see that, Tyson,
That
in
people
him?
don't see.
Do you think he can box in his own unique style?
He's an Olympic medalist, so he must be able to box. But the thing is, He ain't going to win a boxing contest with me. Nobody else. That's why I've been undefeated in 10 years. But he's got to knock me out to win or he doesn't win.
Hey, forgive me. I got to ask this last question. You sound like somebody hell-bent on stepping into the ring and giving a boxing lesson and walking away with a decision, as opposed to a heavyweight champion of the world looking to take another champion out. That's how you...
Well, once again, Stephen A. Smith, what's the problem with that? Muhammad Ali did not step into the ring looking to get knockouts all the time, especially later on in his career. He was good with the decision. Why should Tyson Fury want to appease you by saying, I'm going to walk in the ring and try to knock Deontay Wilder out? I mean, he has a decent knockout ratio. He's undefeated at 27-0. He has 19 KOs. But I think that even he understands that it would sound a bit disingenuous for him to be trying to sell the fight based off of the notion that he's going to knock Deontay Wilder out. He'll let Deontay use that aspect of the fight promotion of being the great knockout artist. Why should he have to sell that on his end? Because he's big? Just because he's a big man does not mean that he has a great punch.
How you sound? Am I wrong?
I am, like I say, the slickest heavyweight boxer out there. I'm going to come out of that fight with not one mark on me. Deontay Wilder says there's no pressure on him to knock me out.
You're a wordsmith,
But I'm
too.
saying he has to knock me out.
And I'm here
the
for all
pressure
of
is
it.
on.
Can you knock him out?
It's about to get good. Now we gotta go.
Deontay Wilder smashed Tyson
He's a
Fury.
joker.
But I tell you now, 27 other opponents tried to smash Tyson Fury with all the same ambition, catching that big chin full of fur, and it doesn't work. I'm going to knock him out. I'm going to go for the prediction. I'm going to stop Deontay Wilder in his own town in America.
Hey, real quick, do you guys appreciate
Good finish. But we both know that you're full of shit.
the fact, like we talk about the fact that Floyd really loves Conor McGregor, because for the first time he came across a guy he didn't have to promote the whole thing.
Yeah.
He had a partner who promoted. Do you guys appreciate the fact that as business partners, you know you're going to each carry some weight here?
Almost that, for me, it's refreshing. You know, because all my fights I had to carry it by myself. And being in America, you know, we competed against so many different sports, and every time I competed against different sports. But now, we're by ourselves. I got somebody that can sell the fight with me, and we can talk. You know what I mean? We ain't like we best of friends, but we have great communication.
And you respect each other.
Respect each other, and that's the
So
biggest
ding
thing.
ding round one.
Can't wait. December 1st, LA, it all goes down. Fellas, thank you so much for being with us,
Thank
coming
you.
out to New York. We
Thank you.
appreciate
It's
you.
been
It's going to be
interesting.
fun. All right, that'll do it for us right now. When we come back.
Yes, that'll do it for me as well. We'll see how this fight goes in December. Once again, this clearly is a setup fight, or at least a tournament fight, to see who, after the winner is declared for this fight, has the right to truly call out Anthony Joshua. They're both denying that they're looking for Anthony Joshua, but he is the golden goose. And they both grasp the importance of this fight because it's going to truly validate their claims that they deserve a fight with Anthony Joshua. So peace.